Hey, how's it going? Thanks so much for checking out this video. My name is Ray. There's one of me. And today I'm excited to show you guys the Harley Benton DC-Junior. DC obviously standing for double cut. Like I said in my Harley Benton TE30 video, which thank you so much. It got up to 1,000 views. That's crazy, especially for my channel. That's really good. So thank you guys so very much for watching that last Harley Benton video. But as I was saying in that video, the reason why I love Harley Benton, man, and honestly, I've been turned down twice to do collaborations with them, so I am not at all affiliated with them. But what I like is that their guitars are so accessible, and you really can learn about all of these different classic guitar designs and platforms. And it gives you the chance to learn how players in the past use these guitars to create their sounds and how you maybe can do your own sounds using these classic designs. It just makes it accessible. There's no gatekeeping involved. You know what I mean? You could save up enough money to buy like a $200 guitar and it's going to be really solid and really nice. So spoiler, I already love this guitar. You don't even have to wait for the review time. I already love this guitar, but I will get to a couple of its flaws when we do the review time. So real quick, man, I know you guys didn't click on this video to listen to me yap. So I'm going to get to this demo really quick is what I'm trying to say. But real quick before I do, you might notice that, the juniors only have one P90 pickup. Like they call this the dog ear pickup because of the way it attaches to the body. And you'd be like, well, what can you really do with that? Honestly, guys, I've played full gigs with this. And what I love about these junior guitars, right? When Gibson Les Paul Juniors came out, they were meant for students. And I really do think that everybody could benefit from learning how to play electric guitar on one of these style of guitars because it really forces you to listen and use your volume and tone control to shape your sound. Take this right into an amp, set your amp up as dirty as you want it to get, right? And then everything else is right here at the volume and the tone. And it also, because the P90 is really expressive and really dynamic and can really listen to different placements of the pick. Like you can actually pick closer to the neck, closer to the bridge, and anything in between. So you can kind of find tones just by your hand placement. So it really forces you to get creative and listen. So when you do go to a guitar that has more bells and whistles, they have more pickups, more switching, all the different tone and volume pots, it almost feels like, wow, I got so many more options now. When if you can do it all with this, it just makes that so much better. So sometimes the adage is less is more, and that's what you're going to get out of this. While I do the demos today, I will put up on the screen where I have the volume and the tone, because I really can't just say, oh, I'm on the neck pickup. I'm obviously always going to be on the bridge pickup. That's all there is. So I'll put the controls, like, tone and volume, so you guys can see where I'm at. All right, for real, last thing I'm going to say is my signal chain. The DC Junior is going through this Guitar Center cable into my Bugera G5 Infinium. I have the gain at about 10, 11 o'clock-ish. It's all the way up. It's only on the 10th of a watt mode because I live in an apartment building. I have that mic'd up with a SM57 beta that is going into, actually, I borrowed my friend Paul, my producer and friend Paul's Tube MP. I got that as my mic pre today. I actually have a mic pre for a change. Then I got that going into the Audio Box Go, which is the interface to go into my laptop, which is running Reaper, which is my DAW. All that put aside, let's finally shut up and get on with the video, guys. Enjoy. I hope you like it. Well, you've made it to review time. As always, I really tried my best to my ability to put this thing through the paces and definitely show you that you can get such a huge variety of tones with just one pickup, a volume, a tone, going into an amplifier or whatever you have, guys. You know, like I love all kinds of gear. I'm not a gatekeeper, man. If you play digital, if you play analog, if you play tube, if you play solid state, I love it all, man. And as long as you're playing, you're having fun, you're doing your thing, you know, you're being creative or whatever, like that's what it's all about, man. It's not about, you know, oh, you can't be a certain level of player if you don't have a certain gear. Like that's not true, man. So just don't ever believe that stuff. But yeah, let me go over my pros and cons of the Harley Benton DC-Junior. Overall, man, I would give this such a high rating. Again, I think I want to say I paid, like at the time I bought this in 2025, I think I got this August of 2025. It's been a second. I've played a few gigs with it too before I made a video to really kind of get a sense of how I feel about it. I paid about $236 and that included shipping. Caveat though, I did buy that used from Guitar Center. So when it came, the nut was actually, like when I took the strings off, the nut fell off. So I don't know if that's how it came from Harley Benton or if that's how it came from the previous owner. So I still have to glue the nut on. If you heard any intonation issues, it's probably because I wasn't warmed up, and it might be because of this nut. On the other side though, I do love that it has a bridge that can be intonated. It's the classic wraparound, but not only can you move it forward and backward this way, you can also move the saddles to really intonate it. And that hasn't been a problem. The tuning pegs are okay. They stay in tune relatively well. They don't really slip or anything. You might want to replace them at some point to get something that has maybe a better ratio. But otherwise, it's not too bad at all. And lastly, maybe one last con. I might change the pots. It is kind of like, you know, it's like super bright. And then you get to like maybe 4, and it starts to kind of really go down. And then you get to like 2 and it's like off, you know what I mean? So you don't have like a nice sweep. It's kind of like all, nothing, you know what I mean? It just cuts off real quick. It's not the best sweep. Like I wish I had more subtle in-betweens. You basically have like 10, you know, maybe 4 or 5, and then like 1, 2. So you really only have like 3 real settings in there on your tone pot. So maybe I would change that so it'd be a better sweep. And also, actually, I don't notice a whole lot of treble loss, but you might want to replace the volume with like like one of those treble bleed pots, so that, you know, even as you go down, you never lose any of your high end. It's always all there. It doesn't get that capacitance and stuff. So otherwise though, man, this thing plays like a beast. It's easy to set up, you know what I mean? It stays in tune relatively well. You know what I mean? I love how simple it is, and it really does force you to listen. It makes you listen, God forbid, listen more than you play, you know? You really have to find your tone. I mean, of course, I've been kind of preaching this whole going just guitar into amp, but of course, if you have pedals and everything, I don't know though. Sometimes, man, if you're looking for tones, you might already have it and you haven't really explored the fact that you have a volume and a tone, and you can really just take all those different, whether they're distortion pedals or preamps or heads or whatever you have, digital modeling, digital signal processors, DSPs, VSTs, whatever you have, and mess around with the volume and the tone. You might be able to find stuff within the gear you already have. And this is the kind of guitar. I can see why, players like Jared James Nichols or like Phil X, Leslie West of Mountain famously played a DC-Junior. So definitely a lot of great people to follow their footsteps. And you can learn so much, Some people even say like just having one pickup, the strings vibrate differently. I'm not even getting into that whole hoodoo voodoo, you know what I mean? That's not why I bought this. I bought it more, for just the sound of the P90. I've always wanted a P90 guitar. And I've also been very curious with a single pickup guitar, like to see how much you can get just by moving your hand back and forth amongst the strings. And like I said, using the tone and the volume. So thank you guys so very much for watching. If you are enjoying the videos, please like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. I'm putting this on YouTube and TikTok. So if you want to watch it either place, man, that really does help. I love the comments, man. Last thing too, oh crap, I totally forgot. I was going to put the patrons up here. But patreon.com/OneRayMusic. It's only $3 a month to join. I've been posting the behind the scenes of the re-recording of my first 2 albums. So if you're really interested in seeing that stuff and other bonus stuff too, like when these albums come out, you'll get free copies of it like before it's even released. So there's definitely perks to being a patron, and it's really the only way, honestly, the only way that I'll have the excuse to buy some more guitars. They're not all going to be Harley Bentons, but probably a lot of them would be because they're just so accessible. But there's other budget brands I want to look into and see if they can stack up to this. If they can, I'll tell you, it's never been a better time to be a guitar player, honestly. Like, you can really get into it at such an entry level and really have access to every tone ever made. So, all right, guys, thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.